Well, I'll give you guys a preview, and nobody's here yet. So we'll see what happens. Nobody wants to come in on Sunday night. It's about the only night not the only night I'm alone in this house, but having a hard time. I got another weird thing that happened to me yesterday. Nobody will guess what this is. What could it possibly be that gang stalkers can do to disappear money from my pocket? Anybody want to know? What's up, Bush? So let me give you a story that happened to me yesterday that's going to cost me a lot of money. I was with my daughter yesterday. She called me yesterday morning. She wanted to go do a thing. So me and my daughter went to do a thing. And I parked at the top of the road where we went. And I had to haul some things up and down. And I left my phone on the dash. Now, this is a safe place where my truck's parked. Put my phone on the dash, put my toboggan over top of the phone, walked down there, did what we needed to do for about probably 40 minutes. My daughter and I were working on a project. We walked back to the truck, and I get to the truck, and I look on the dash and said, oh, gosh, my phone's not here. That's strange. And, of course, my daughter's like, oh, where's that, Dad? Where's that, Dad? I don't know. So I start searching my pockets. Now my first inclination should be on the dash. That's where I put it. But being an old man and having gang stalkers mess with me all the time, I'm a little addle-brained at times. So I start searching and checking pockets and under the seat, behind the seat, and on top of the truck, behind the truck, in the truck. Phone's nowhere. So I tell my daughter, honey, call my phone. My daughter has a serious problem. Her phone's always dead. She's got an iPhone. That thing died. It's just dead all the time. It doesn't matter. I can call her right now. Well, if I had a phone, I could call my daughter right now and ask her what her phone's on. I guarantee it's on the red. So I said, honey, call my phone. Come on. She's like, Dad, my phone's dead. I was like, oh, God, this is great. So I raced. We jumped in the truck. This is after we went back down where we were and looked everywhere. I looked everywhere I walked. Every place I walked where we were at, I could not find my phone. This is the same place my phone was lost 6 months ago, where it literally disappeared out of thin air. She's gone. We looked everywhere. She's looking. I'm looking. We're both looking. Can't find my telephone anywhere. So finally I said, okay, I'm going to take you home. You charge your phone. By the time I get back here, start calling the phone. She said, okay, Dad. So I race her home. I'm mad. I'm upset. Still thinking, where could it be? I mean, when you know what you've done, there's nothing in your mind. I mean, there's always that guess. Oh, maybe, just maybe somewhere else. I knew in my heart my phone was gone. I really didn't expect to find it. Let me tell you that much. So I get her home, and I race back, and I get there, and I'm still looking around, still looking in my truck, still looking. I go to where we're at, and I'll walk around. I'm walking around, and I don't hear nothing, and I don't hear my phone ringing. I'm walking all over the property where I was at. I'm looking around, and then I hear my phone ringing. My phone is faintly ringing. I'm like, where in the world is that from? And I looked, and there's this big bucket of water. Now, from the time that I realized my phone was gone till we went and looked for it, and I took my daughter home, and I came back to look for it again, that had been almost 45 minutes to an hour that I did not know where my phone was. She calls it again. It's ringing, and I go, and this cell phone right here with no cover on it at all. You see my phone's not tore up. It ain't beat up or nothing. This is under ice. There's a top layer of ice, and this was under ice, underwater. This phone. It was ringing underwater, this phone. Enough where I went to try to pick the water up to dump it over because it's too heavy for me to move. So I picked the ice up and moved the ice out of the way, found my phone, and it was still ringing. And as you see, if it ain't went dead yet, it still lights up. All that still works, but the screen doesn't work. So you tell me how a cell phone is even doing that after being underwater for supposedly an hour. Unless someone walked to my truck, grabbed my phone, put it in their pocket, watched us leave, walked to where we were, and then waited for me to show up, and then they chunked it in the water. Because that phone is not going to sit underwater for 45 minutes to an hour and not be completely saturated. This is not a very special phone at all. So this phone was just purchased 2 months ago. I don't have any insurance on it, so I'm without a phone again. This happens every time, all the time. Doesn't matter what I do. Cell phone chargers, tires, distributors. I mean, anything in my world to dollar me to death, something gets tore up every day of my life. Tools. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. I can't have anything. And I am very particular about my things. I take very good care of my things. I mean, I've been freaking out for the past week at how filthy my vehicles are because I drove in the freaking snow and sludge. So I don't like things being dirty. Don't like things being messy. I take care of my stuff. But very upsetting now. I don't even have a phone, and I need one desperately now to be able to communicate. And I got calls to make, things to do, and this is just more money. I mean, I still haven't replaced the brand new tire that I just replaced on the back of my Ranger. That was $147 with tax. I still haven't replaced that. Did that with my phone. I dropped it in the freezer. I put food away, lost my phone 7 days, couldn't find it, and then I found it in the freezer. That was the best phone. There you go. I even had my battery, never went dead. It was great. Yep. It was extremely rude and unprofessional how that Sheffick gave his expert advice that you need mental health. Isn't that nice of that? Yeah, isn't that police chief saying I need mental help? Isn't that lovely? We can talk about anything you want. I can't talk about specifics of my case, but for everyone, I'm going to reiterate. Everyone said, well, I don't know how to judge this because I didn't see the beginning of it. Guess what? They deleted the beginning of the footage. They deleted the dash cam. I don't have anything. All I have is what I've shown. I've got a lot more, like from the hospital, where literally I was sitting on the side I was handcuffed to the side of the gurney, and the cop or a doctor or a nurse is pushing me through, and where the door is, there's that much sticking out from the wall, and literally they rammed my head into the side of the wall going through the hospital. And the cop said, well, the doctor said there wasn't nothing wrong with him at all. Well, that ain't what the doctor said. The doctor said that my shoulder wasn't dislocated at that moment that it took x-rays. Like, you guys know me long enough. Look right now at my shoulders. This one is higher than this one. See how I sit? Wait a second. No. Yeah, this one. This shoulder disconnects all the time. It just falls out all the time. So when a cop has got me in handcuffs behind my back and he's got his hand on my shoulder here, pushing down on me while rearing me up, that pops my shoulder out. And it did. He's like, well, every time you're resisting. I'm not resisting when you're twisting my freaking body in a direction it don't go. And here's the funny thing about that whole deal. I've got to go back and count, and I got to go back and do a lot of stuff on the videos. He did not get my driver's license in his hand for the first 20 or 30 minutes of that stop when he searched my pockets and then pulled my license out. Yet he and the sergeant were both calling me by my middle name the whole time. They both mentioned my YouTube channel several times, but they did not know who I was. They didn't know who I was, but they were calling me by my middle name. You see, if they had seen my driver's license, they would have seen my first name there. And if they did not know me, they would have been calling me as my first name, like you always do when you see somebody's ID, you call them by the first name, not the middle name. But the whole time they were calling me by my middle name while saying, hey, Channon, I don't know who you are, Channon. I don't know who you are, but you got a YouTube channel. The person saw the beginning of the body cam where he grabbed you and pulled you out without any cause. Well, you did see that. And didn't you like on the police report where he said he asked me to get out of the car and I slowly stepped out. And then he said I held my right hand where my gun and my knife was as to conceal it. He used so many adjectives like Oh, he didn't say he grabbed me and pulled me out of the car. You guys missed that in the police report, didn't you? Go back and read the police report. He didn't say I reached in and removed Mr. Townsend from the car. He didn't say that. He said I got out of the car slowly and took my hand and was covering up my firearm. Why would I cover up a gun that's legal? Why would I cover up a gun that's legal? See, he's making a narrative, just like he said. Oh, then I pressed him softly against the truck. What? Literally using adjectives like softly, and then he says, I buckled my knee and dramatically fell as to show the video, the video recorder that I got knocked down. If anybody thinks that I faked getting knocked on the ground, please put a 1 in a comment. Put a 1 in a comment if you think that I faked getting knocked down. Anybody think that at all in here? I don't move that fast. I'm an old man, and my body's a lot older than my age. I have crashed Harleys at 45 miles an hour. I've probably been in 15 to 20 bad car wrecks. I've had 30 to 40 brawls, like mega brawls. I just had a concussion yesterday. I just saw stars yesterday when I was working. I was severely beat by my dad. I mean, my body has been through immortal hell, not including all the work I've done. When I was roofing when I was 16 years old, my little scrawny ass at 120 pounds, a 16-year-old, had two packs of shingles on my shoulder going up and down a ladder. My body has had it, and God built this body to do it. So thank God that I'm still here. But anybody says that I faked getting knocked down, I faked for the camera, really? Then here's my question. Why ain't I in Hollywood? Why am I not in Hollywood? I would love to see the report of your shoulder. The report, it's just in the, I don't have the doctor's report. It never came in the mail. I'm waiting for it. But you can read the police report. It says there's nothing wrong with me. I was released. Everything was fine. They didn't even look at my knee. They didn't look at my arm. Where he kicked me at, I had a big purple bruise on this knee, on my left hand knee, and I had a big bruise on my right what's that, calf? On my right calf, I had a big bruise about that big around. I mean, I was black and blue for about 4 days afterwards, and my head had a knot right here on it. Where when Davis got out, he ran up to the truck as fast as he could, took my head and bounced my head off of the truck. Guess where that footage is? It ain't there. That footage is not there either. They have went through, and when you guys see, when I showed the video, I've got the body camera, but I can't play it. Go back and look at that video. There's like, I counted them and I lost count. The last count I had was like 13 or 14 separate videos on that body camera. Why is there 14 separate videos of one incident with one main cop and one cop that was there for a third of the time? Why is there 14 to 15 different videos? Because they went through and cut them up, and when they uploaded, everything's out of order. Everything. The main video was like down here in the bottom. I mean, it was all, I mean, they took it, and the people at the city, and I'll give you guys the law firm so you can call them and let your request be made known. They chopped up everything. They removed everything they think they can to make their case stronger. Whenever they turn on blue lights, the cameras on the dash come on. Where's that footage? It doesn't exist. I haven't received any of the dash cam footage at all. I do have that. I haven't played yet. This is the radio traffic from law enforcement. I haven't played that yet, but that's not going to tell me anything. But you guys remember? Let me read this first. Has extremely rude, unprofessional. Yep. I would love to see the report of your shoulder. See what it says. I do believe about the wrapping in the head. I had my head rammed against the wall last time I was in the hospital. There you go. I personally saw the beginning of the body cam where he grabbed you and pulled you without any cause. There you go. Is it? I'm off. I like dumb in this area, so I'm going to ask a question. But is it any firearm that can shoot either a real bullet or a black powder bullet deadly? Please help me. There have been more people killed with the black powder firearms than any other firearm in the world because the West, the Wild West. Probably not now. As many gun deaths has happened as all the wars that we've had. But as far as everyday carry, not including wars and military, no. I mean, it'll still kill you. That's just not the point. That's just not the point. I carry what I'm allowed to have. I got set up by crooked cops. They had pot. My buddy got busted with that pot. And then they said, oh, my buddy said, well, let me get him busted. So they'll take away my charge. So then they give me pot. And then the cops called and said, hey, we want to pick up his pot that we just gave him. So I went and gave the pot, gave a little bit. It was 2 bags. It was less than an ounce per bag. Less than an ounce. Because the first one was shy, so I didn't have a felony. And the second one was an ounce. So they charged me 2 ounces. But I had a lawyer by the state, and that lawyer set me up to take 2 felonies for selling, delivering, manufacturing marijuana. So the cops got the pot, the cops took my buddy, and the cops come with my buddy to drop off the pot. Then the cops call with my buddy, hey, bring us the pot. So then I pick up the pot and take it back to my buddy with the cops, and then I get felonies. Isn't that the way America is? Just like the feds in America. There wouldn't be any crime. There would be no terrorism in America. There would not be terrorism in America if the FBI would be shut down. Are you hearing me? The Gretchen Whitmer kidnapping, where in the van of kidnappers, 9 of the 12 men in the van were FBI agents. You want to talk about January 6th? Clay Higgins, he's a former sheriff out of Louisiana. Clay Higgins says to the estimate he got under whistleblower testimony, there were well over 200 federal agents on January 6th at the Capitol. Inside, outside, all around. America would be a lot safer if there were no law enforcement agencies at all. True story, bro. I'm sorry. Proceed to immediate legal action. Don't slip up. They will do everything to stop you. These bastards need to pay. What charges have they issued on me? They got me for resisting arrest because of my speech. Remember that. Because he said several times, and in the narrative, he keeps saying he was restricting, he was resisting, obstructing, and delaying. Case law says that speech alone, no matter how tumultuous, how loud, and how boisterous I am, speech is not resisting. It isn't. When he asked me for my ID, I asked him. I said, sir, he said, I do. He said, I cannot. He said, the first thing he said is, you don't have a tag. That's what you don't see in the video. You don't have a tag. I said, dude, the tag's on there. You don't have a tag. I said, man, just walk back there. Walk 2 feet back there. My tag's there. You do not have a tag. I said, sir, there's a tag on there. And he said, let me see your ID. I said, what's your reasonable, articulable suspicion? As soon as I said that, it was a keyword for him to then initiate force. It was like, boop, that was what I was waiting for. Because remember, the trooper video where the cop pulled me over for not having a seatbelt on. Remember that? Traffic stop's over. He hands me a ticket. Traffic stop's over. It's over. When they hand the ticket, traffic stop's over. So I ran him back to his car. I said, get back in your goddamn car and get out of my driveway with a whole bunch of F words. Traffic stop was over. This little piglet, Adams, he was expecting me to act like I did that day with him. So he preemptively grabbed me and shoved me in cuffs. He knew exactly what he was doing. He did not see me with a rack on the back of my truck when I passed him. The curve's like this, comes around, and he was pointing straight at me. So I'm coming in like this. Boom. And I pass him and get by. I knew as soon as I saw him, he was going to pull me. Why? Right where he was at was the parking lot I was at a couple of days earlier filming the drones from the airport. Followed me all the way to my driveway. And to my knowledge, he did not turn the lights on until I was already in my driveway. That's not a point of contention with me. That's not going to affect my case any. But when I got out, I don't know if I saw the lights before I got out or not, I'm not sure, but I know I stepped out of my truck. I was out of the truck. See, that's what you guys don't know. You don't see it on the video. That's what's gonna screw him up because they deleted it. I was out of my truck. And he starts screaming, get back in your car, get back in your car, get back in your car now. And I'm like, oh, shit, I'm in trouble because my phone was dead. I didn't have any service on my phone was dead. The battery's shot. I got in, shut the door. So here now we've already had commands. Get back in your car 3 times. So now I'm in the car. But now he wants to pull me out. Wait a second. I was already out. Why did you put me back in? If it was for your safety, why did you put me back in the car to pull me out again? You see? Are you getting it here? Just like in the video. When it gets me out, and I remember it differently than what the video shows, because you guys know I've got severe PTSD. The lights alone. And listen, we need to have a discussion in America about these flashing freaking lights that cops have. They are blinding. These lights are way too bright. And once they've got you pulled over, the lights coming to the front need to stop. It needs to end. If they need spotlights, that's fine. But having the flashing lights, and all it is it upsets everything. And they know it. The whole point is to upset you and put you in a stage of panic. That's what the lights are meant to do. What if I'd had epilepsy and that would have set me off and I had a seizure? They would have beat me to death for having a seizure. This happens in America where people have they have a diabetic coma and cops pull them out of the car and beat them to death for being drunk at the wheel. This happens. We need to change the laws. We need to go through and wipe out most of the laws and rewrite them. We need to kick them out. These bright lights, because even with DUIs, if you ever watch it with DUIs, they're supposed to turn off the bright and flashing lights when somebody's doing the test. Don't ever do the test. Public service announcement: you cannot pass a DUI test. You cannot pass the stagmas test. You cannot pass that. It is not meant to pass at all. The walking the line is not meant to pass. It isn't. Hold your foot up. It's not meant to pass. They are building a case on you to take you to jail for DUI. There's nothing you can say or do to stop them unless you sit right there quietly. And if it means you just lose your license, you're going to lose your license, but go fight it in court. Period. Several times during this. Several times. Get back in your car. Get out of your car. And just like when he pulls me out, he says, don't look me in the eyes. Don't look me in the face. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And he turns me around. So now he doesn't want me to look him in the eyes. So it's get back in the car, get back out of the car. Then it's don't look me in the eyes. And then when he's got me in handcuffs in the back of his car, he's got this bright ass light on his chest shining in my eyes. Now in the video, when you're looking at it, it looks like it's right here on my chest, but it's still bright right here in my eyes. Then he's like, look me in the eyes, man. Come on, man. Look me in the eyes. You ain't man enough to look me in the eyes. Wait a second. So get out of the truck, get in the truck. Then it's don't look me in the eyes. Then it is look me in the eyes. Do you guys think? And here, wait a second, for I bloviate more. Another guy asked a question: Why is he standing there in handcuffs for 20 minutes to get inside the car? We weren't waiting for the EMS to show up right then. The whole thing was to push me and pull me, keep me off guard, keep me out of control. They were pushing me to react. Everything was about pushing me and make me react. He wanted me to fight him. That's exactly what he wanted, not a doubt in my mind. They wanted to hurt me. They hurt me. They did it. But it took two of them with the freaking handcuffs and I was hurt. The whole day it went on. I worked my ass off that whole day. I was beat. So the whole day, everything they did was to hurt me and to catch me off guard. The whole thing was meant to trigger me, and it did it. But see, I didn't resist. Speech is not resisting. He said, I tried to walk him to the truck, but he stopped and jerked me to look at his tag. No, we walked by, and I said, look at my tag. Look right there at my tag. Look at my tag. It's on my truck. Run the numbers. That's not resisting. And you guys know it. Resisting and disorderly conduct, those are both contempt of cop tickets. Because the statute is written so broad, you can throw the trash can and the kitchen sink in on that statute and hope and pray. Because guess what? Pulling me over for a minor traffic offense, an ordinance violation, I don't think it's an arrestable offense. So to arrest me, they got to make up a crime. Got it? That's why he was at the magistrate's office trying to measure the blade on my pocket knife to get me on that for a concealed weapon. A pocket knife. He wanted to charge me with a concealed weapon. Oh, by the way, they kept both of my knives, my pocket knife and the one in the sheath. He was measuring my pocket knives and the one in the sheath to see if they can get me for a weapon there. The whole thing was to stack charges. We got to make sure this sticks. We got to make sure it sticks. That's why he put all that descriptive words like he made a quick, fast, sharp turn to go to this house. I pushed him up against the car softly. He was being irate. He was dramatically throwing himself on the ground. Thank you, Gabby. Thank you, Gabby. Let's see here. I'm paramedic. I just want to make sure you're okay. I'm not okay. 457 round balls have killed many men in Civil War. Yes, they have. Yeah, I know about Civil War and stuff that I'm talking about now. 225. How illegal is it for you to have any problem? Let me change the narrative, because when I say it was in my pocket, it wasn't in my pocket. If you guys know the little pistol that I carry, it's got a belt clip on it. Okay, that little clip, it holds to the outside of my pocket, so that much of that pistol hangs out at the top of my pocket. Okay, so the pistol's about that long with the little, because I can open it up. It's got a handle that you open up on it, because the pistol's not but that long. It's that long. That's how long it is. Okay, so with the part, the handle that pulls out and the belt clip on it, it's about that long. So that much of it was sticking out of my pocket. See, because if you put it on the other way, it's hanging out and it'll flop off like that. I used to carry it on my left-hand side, but it kept flopping off. So I keep it where if it does fall, it'll fall down towards my pocket, but it wasn't down in my pocket. And when he grabbed it like this. These two fingers were on the clip on the outside, and he pulled the clip and on the belt clip. Not it doesn't have a magazine, but to pull it like it's right here, and then this right here was on the butt of the gun. So he pulled it up like this right here. I talked to the No, I ain't gonna say that. I'm not gonna say it. There's some things I can say, some things I can't. Love to see the report of your shoulder. We'll see what it says. I do believe about the wrapping in the head. Yep. Personally saw the beginning of the body camera where he grabbed you and pulled you, and that's not on the video. I mean, that's not on the police report. He did not write that in the report that he pulled me from the truck. Is that weird? He left that out. I mean, I think it's weird, just like you guys, where the first of the video is not there. It's gone. The first of the video of him pulling me over, me getting out of the truck, and him making me get back in, it's not there. They have deleted it. The lawyer's office for Longview, North Carolina, the city of Longview, the lawyer's office deleted it. There's not a city attorney here. They got an attorney that they rent. They rent the attorney. But it's gone. They deleted everything they didn't want to show up in court is gone. They have scrubbed this. Listen, if you got me fair and square, show it. If you've got me busted dead to rights, what you say you got me for, it ought to be on the video. Why isn't it on there? Now, if I go before a jury, I'm not going to speak ill. Lord, in Jesus' name, don't let my words curse my case, Lord, in the name of Jesus. But if you put this case in front of a jury, they're going to say what they're going to say, because the majority of the American public think it's against the law to yell in front of cops. They think it's against the law to cuss cops. The majority of the American public are just stupid. They think that you should bow down and suck that whole boot all the way up till you're chewing on the heel. The American people think they're our heroes because they watch that garbage programming every single day. Law and Order SVU, Miami Vice. You remember Miami Vice? I grew up with that. But the problem is when I was a kid watching Miami Vice, it taught you and it taught law enforcement that every house that you're going to go into, there's going to be military grade automatic weapons and grenades and 10 pounds of cocaine and all kinds of meth. I mean, in watching Miami Vice, I mean, they made Miami a war zone. Now, Miami in the 80s was a war zone, but America ain't Miami in the 80s anymore. It's not. All these SWAT raids, nothing good comes from it, except it kills the public. It puts the public at danger for officer safety. An officer's a lot more safe if this right here happens. Law enforcement. Or even better, we've been bugging his phone, calling him on the phone. Hey, got a warrant for your arrest. Do you have a lawyer so I can send the paperwork to him? Okay. We're going to send you a registered letter to your house. If you haven't turned yourself in by then we'll have to come and meet you. But turn yourself in. Boom. How simple would that be? And then cops will say, wait, no way you're going to turn yourself. 95% of the American public would turn themselves in if they found out they had a warrant. 95% of the American public would. It's factual. Ain't that many people going to run from a freaking warrant It's stupid. What's the point? And guess what happens? If you run with the technology they have now, you can't run. There's nowhere to run. Let's see. I'm sorry, pursue it. Let's see. I'm a paramedic. I just want to make sure you're okay. I'm not okay. Let me go back down. How can we help? Share the video to all the big channels. Go to all the big channels and share my video because nobody's. I mean, I can't. I can send it on my email, but I've showed you guys that my email's hacked. Just like they said, they sent all this body cam. They sent all this information that I requested from the. They screwed me on my records request. They screwed me on 99.9% of. They just gave me a blank piece of paper with 2 or 3 words on it instead of giving me what I requested. They didn't give me the majority of stuff I wanted. They didn't even respond. They act like they didn't even get the request. So they didn't even call me and tell me it was up there. They were supposed to mail it to me. They didn't do anything. It's been sitting up there supposedly on the counter for the last month. But they said, well, we emailed you. There ain't no email in my folder. None. So some cash would help, but I ain't going to ask for no money. Tina's got a cash app. I think I shared it last week. But because things are getting pretty tight, I'm relying on the good Lord. That's all I care about. The good Lord's going to take care of me. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. Period. No matter what happens, no weapon formed against me will prosper. Okay? If nothing else, this puts a spotlight on these people at this law enforcement officer. These officers over here at Longview PD are exactly what I told you they were. What would be so hard for them to disprove what I said? Why not make a liar out of me and treat me respectfully? Is that too hard? It's like somebody left a comment. The best way to make a cop look bad, push record. And then after all the end of the ruckus, I said, dude, if you want to write me a ticket, just write me a ticket. Oh, you want a ticket now, huh? You didn't want that 5 minutes ago. I said, nobody wants a goddamn ticket. But you're going to take me to freaking jail and cost me money? Of course I was begging him. When you're in handcuffs and your shoulder's dislocated and you think somebody's going to kill you, you're going to bargain any way you can. And I dare anybody else in the audience to do anything different. Do something different. Tell me when you think that you're going to be locked up in jail. And I needed my meds. They wouldn't give me my meds. Tina put the meds in the car with me, and they wouldn't let me take them. At the hospital, wouldn't let me take my meds. At the sheriff's department, wouldn't let me take my meds. Wouldn't let me have nothing. Nothing. Doctor prescribed them to me, and I knew that's exactly because they want to punish you. The process is the punishment. Doesn't matter if you're convicted or not. You can't beat the ride. And they're going to give you the ride no matter what it is. Just like the ride I got in the back of a cop car, dislocated shoulder, 83 miles an hour, 83 with no seatbelt on. I wonder if that's standard operating procedure for a young cop like that. No seatbelt, 83 miles an hour. And that's just when I finally looked up and realized he's going that fast. I requested that footage as well, and it hasn't shown up either. I didn't get the GPS data from that night either. Isn't that weird? None of the dash cam, because that would have been on the dash cam, but none of that showed up. I didn't get any of that. Isn't that strange? So weird. I'm going to say Trump will ruin Media America's job. You got to stop with the H-1B1. Listen, the H-1B is being abused. They're bringing people from overseas, not because they're skilled, but because they can get them cheap. Glenn Beck did a great expose on the H-1B1 visas last week. It was a great, and all it is Elon Musk wants, and all these big companies wants the H-1Bs. Why? Because they can get them dirt cheap, and those people can't negotiate, because if they negotiate, they'll just kick them back out. And H-1Bs are the biggest problem when it comes to your free speech and mine in America, because Facebook, Google, YouTube, they import all these people from India, from Great Britain, and they're mostly brown people. And I don't mean brown as derogatory, but mostly people who have grown up in a country that have speech laws, very strict speech laws. So when they take over and they come in, me calling somebody stupid is extremely offensive to them. These are the people that are moderating our speech. They're not Americans. Even with Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk, they claim to be Americans. But what is inside me, this freedom that is in my body, that a lot of people nowadays do not possess, I was born with that. I was born with this entitlement that says from God, I can say what I want. I don't think that threatening someone's life should be against the law. I don't. You know how many times I get threatened on a daily basis? People threaten to kill me all the time. Do I call the law? No. I don't think any speech is hate speech. I think the solution to speech that you don't like is other speech. You could never have too much speech. That was born in me. But see, people like Vivek and Elon, they grew up in different places. They grew up in different cultures where you go to Great Britain and call a cop a derogatory name, and they'll put your ass in jail. They'll say, I feel alarmed, threatened, and harassed. Boom. That's it. That's all you got to feel is alarmed, and you can go to jail. They're cutting our freedoms to nothing. And the American people saying, yep, okay, we got to be polite, got to be polite. No. That was, and it's, my daughters don't have that because it was drilled into them at young ages. Oh, we have to be nice. See, they don't even say what we said when we were kids. They don't say, they never sung the song. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words may never hurt me. They never sang that song. Do words hurt? Yes, we know words hurt. It's a little song that we sang when we were little. But the point was not to let words hurt you. Not to call the cops every time somebody says words that hurt you. This is the problem. That's why they have chopped the First Amendment to pieces. It's like when they're trying to do this anti-Semitic speech. You can't do that because they're going to take that speech and move it over to this speech and this speech. And I know what happens. The only speech that you'll be able to use is against Christians. Christian is the only religion you're openly allowed to disparage. But any other one, that's a hate crime. Be careful. But I think that Trump should stay away from H-1Bs. I agree with you 100% on that. I think they need to stop it. We've got too many people here. There are too many people in this country. Right now, I would dare to guess there's not 100 million illegals in this country. 100 million illegals. I would not doubt that 50 million come over that border. I'm telling you now. And they coming across pregnant. All they got to do is dump a baby here, and they're citizens just like that. That's criminal. And the 14th Amendment does not say you get birthright citizenship. It's been misinterpreted for years. It's corrupt. Well, I couldn't see the tag up from the road. There you go. There you go. You're exactly right. Always thought resisting is a physical act. That's what I thought. But see, in the statute it says, oh, if you tense up, you go pull on an old man and see if he don't tense. When you jerk on somebody, how do you not tense up when somebody jerks on you? Now I can understand they're trying to put cuffs on and you're fighting and doing this and pulling. That's different. But when you pull on me and my body don't go that way and I tense up, that like I said, they make these statutes broad as a catch-all because they may lose that in court. And if you watch I watched some of the court hearings. There's this judge in Texas, I think it is, and he's kind of balding on top, brown glasses, kind of a smart ass. But I've seen him kick a lot of these resisting arrest charges out of his court. Boom, no. That probably calls him. I mean, he'll kick him and he'll say, why'd you pull him over? Well, we asked him for his ID and he didn't give him. He's like, well, 38 or 2, you don't have to get it unless he's lawfully arrested. I mean, I've seen him kick them out, and I've shared a couple on my channel. This is too easy, and that's the point. That cash register down in Newton does not work efficiently if there's no customers coming in. So when you got charges like resisting arrest and disorderly conduct, then you're going to keep the flow of sheep in. And to get out, boom, you got to cash the check. Get in, cash the check. I mean, it's sickening that our society's set up. You have to pay for your freedom. To simply not be nice is resisting arrest to corrupt pigs. Yes, it is. It is, Raphael. Thank you for saying that. Thank you, Gabby. I need the hug. I haven't gotten one in quite a while. We all need to flood the news with the injustice the whole day. That news ain't gonna pick it up. This is the problem in America when it comes to news. Mainstream media, news agencies, they want to have the scoop. So if any important thing happens, They want that relationship with these corrupt county and city governments. They want that relationship. But that relationship kind of gets shaky when they start reporting the news of what they're doing. They're doing something wrong. They report it. Oh, we're not going to have that inside track. This is the problem that's come about with this. Social media has changed the whole newscape. And the way it's changed the newscape is it isn't who reports something correctly. It's who reports it first. Whoever's first gets that click, that gets that view, and then they get that paycheck. Doesn't matter if they're right or wrong. They've already given that impression, just like the Russia collusion. Everybody says, oh, Donald Trump colluded with the Russians. Ooh, he's a Russian agent. Well, people today still believe that. They still believe it because it's drilled in their heads every day, even though the news knew it was a lie. Adam Schiff knew he was lying. Congress knew they were lying. Joe Biden knows Joe Biden don't know anything. Joe Biden's been dead a long time. All them people that said Russia collusion, they knew they were lying the whole time, but it didn't matter. The point was to drill in your head the narrative they wanted you to know. It's corrupt. It's true shame. I've been beaten by police over a simple taillight being out. That's the problem. Tina actually think you resisted arrest. No, she doesn't think. No, she saw it. She don't think that. Tina's just. When I watched her interact with that cop, it'll make you guys sick. And I told her I was disgusted with the way she acted. The American people, when they see that badge and costume, they think they must give it respect. If you guys have ever seen me interact with people that I don't know, people I first time met, I am always polite and I'm always cordial. But that you didn't earn my respect to get that. That's the first impression. I'm going to give you the best of me, expecting the best of you. But the American public think that cops have already earned our respect because that costume. In no other paradigm are you extorted for money, and that person that has extorted you of money can kill you, cage you, and get away with it, and you be polite to them. Like you owe them that gratitude. I asked Tina, I said, why did you ID to him? Well, he was writing down your last name for my last name. I said, so? He called you Tina Townsend, so? He wrote down Mason Townsend, so? So? What is none of his business who you are? He doesn't have the right to your information. He doesn't have the right to your phone number. He doesn't have the right to know where you. He doesn't have the right to know anything about you. But you gladly said, okay, honey. So you called the pig that slammed me honey, and she calls everybody honey. I understand that she didn't. It wasn't a sexual thing by any means, because I mean he's like this much shorter than she is, but it wasn't none of that. It's just the point that she's so used to, and the average American people don't know what we know because the algorithms hide them from what you see from me every day. It hides them from what I share on my YouTube and my Facebook. The average American people never see that. But if you log into my feed right now, I mean, right now it's going to show Muslim debates and Jehovah's. It's going to show a lot of Christian debates. But during the week, it is police accountability, police accountability, police accountability. It's all of it. But the American people don't see that. If they don't go and try to find, then it's not going to pop up. The algorithms hide corrupt cops. Everybody says, cops are getting picked on enough nowadays. Really? They are? Really? They kill you cold-blooded, and a jury says, well, he was just doing his job. Maybe he shouldn't have blown his head off when he didn't resist and didn't break the law, but he was just, he was doing his job. We paid him to do a job. He just made a mistake. Let him go out and try it again, and then the cop kills 3 more people. But this is the American people mindset. It's the will and the need to want to please. I will prejudge every law enforcement I come across because the majority of all cops are rotten. A bad cop could not survive if there were good cops holding them accountable, but there never is. Just like when the tiny terror pig slammed me, other cops said, cool story, bro. I didn't see that happen. You didn't see it happen. How do you think I ended up on the ground? Oh, that's right. I locked my knee and dramatically fell. A few more people in here. Did you watch the video? Did I lock my knee and dramatically fell when you saw my legs completely out from under me and I'm sideways? I'm in the air. Bam! landing on my shoulder. That was dramatic. Oh, that's so crazy. I'm so sorry that happened to you. I'm sorry it happened to you. I'm sorry it happened to you. Not happy about it. I don't want to think this way. What happens? They find you guilty. What goes on there? Let's see. Wait a second. Meanwhile, let me get back. I got to get back up here. I went too far. I went too far. Wow, that really went far. You should have stayed in the vehicle. As soon as you got out, they started demanding orders. And then when I get in, they pulled me out. Nothing I could have done that night would have changed what happened. He was waiting for me, and he got me. That was the point. I opened my big mouth and said that I waited too long on my lawsuit. My lawsuit was up, and the chief said, "Get them, boys." That's what he did. Plain and simple. Nothing I could have done. I could have licked his boots in the goddamn driveway. He'd have tried to stick his member in my ass. Wouldn't have happened. Didn't matter. The same thing would have happened. Listen, if that was a clean stop, it ought to be on the body camera footage. If that's a clean stop, the dash cam ought to be right here on this computer. But it ain't. It ain't there. What's up, Gorf? You can call me the other day, man. I was waiting on you to call me. Let's see here. We talking about, try to reread my comment. He's probably wanted to shoot the gun in your pocket. No, he wanted to shoot me. He didn't know how to shoot the gun. He didn't know how to pull the chamber out. He didn't know how to pull the freaking cylinder out of it. How's this work? Didn't he know how to open the stupid gun? I mean, it's like he's scared to have it. He's trying to give the gun to Sergeant. Here, Sergeant, I don't have evidence, man. Will you put it in your car? The Sergeant's like, what? Get a bag and put it in your car and take it with you. Well, I don't have a bag. He didn't have an evidence bag with him. This kid should not be a cop. The fact that he excused what his sergeant did is the biggest problem. But the simple fact that he took an order to come and get me, no, he didn't do that on his own. No, I don't care what he says. Something or someone prompted him. Not a doubt in my mind. He's crooked, he's corrupt, and he's just starting out. Imagine that. Imagine when he starts learning the tips and techniques of how to move that body camera just far enough where you can hit somebody and it not show up. See, cops know this crap. They know if they get right up on you, that if they put that camera to your back and slam your head, that camera's not going to show your head getting slammed. It's right there on your back. They know, just like when I first started using this thing, every time I picked this camera up, my hand was in the lens. I was shaking it. It was cocked sideways, right? I didn't turn it the right side, right way, or I wasn't loud enough. I was covering the speaker. Once you start using that camera, you know how to use that camera. You get used to it. Cops are the same way with body camera footage. They know if it gets too big and everybody's talking too much, boom, they just turn that son of a gun off. But they know exactly how to aim that thing, point that thing, and they don't even have to touch it. They know what to say. They know what signals to give each other. Chili DeCastro did the best breakdown of body camera footage. When cops chased this guy, a high-speed chase, they chased this black guy and killed him, and then it looked like they stashed a ghost gun on him. That's exactly what it looked like. And the cops walk around and they're signaling to each other. Cameras on. Oh, everything's hot out here. It's hot. Everything's hot. It's going. And Chili just broke it down. Every single signal was just, as soon as Chili described the signal that's happening, it was like somebody turned a flashlight on and shined a spotlight right on him. It was obvious. Cops know how to use cameras. That's why they're useless. The only way you can protect yourself is to have a dash cam in your car. And I've got to put mine back in. I have to do that. I just haven't taken the time to do it. And my phone was dead. If my phone wouldn't have been dead, and when I told that cop I'm not even recording, he said, "Yeah, you didn't want to record you acting like an ass." Yeah. I've recorded myself acting like an ass all the time. You think it embarrasses me that I cussed out a cop? I'm embarrassed the fact that I let him get me upset, but when I'm triggered, I can't control myself. When I'm triggered and my PTSD is going crazy, it's hard to maintain your cool. And when you think somebody's going to kill you, I'm not going to lay there and be silent while he's trying to do it. I'm going to scream for the neighbor. I'm going to scream for my kid. I'm going to scream for everybody to watch this guy kill me. I pray that I go to heaven when they do it, but I'm not going to lay down and just say, okay, I'll be quiet while you blow my brains out. I'm not built like that. Tina is a partner girlfriend. No, I'm not his girlfriend. I'm not his wife. No, this Tina Martin on here is not my girlfriend or my wife. It's someone who's been following him for a while, and thank you for following. And you're lucky. You must treat your husband well if he's been there 32 years. I know I'm just saying Tina referred to different Tina. Yeah. When I watched the video of his spouse coming and talking to the officer, I took it like she was disappointed in you, the way she acted. She's not built like that. Just like with her and Mason both. I asked them both, I said, 8 years. 8 years. I've taught you everything about law enforcement to protect you. And all it takes, and that one little tiny terror pig, that's your name, by the way, tiny terror pig, little bully with a dang costume. He goes up and starts, after he's unlawfully made Mason get 50 feet away so he couldn't record what was going on. Mason was 25 feet away recording me, and he made him go another 25 feet away to the porch. Made him go stand on the porch so he couldn't see anything. And then goes over, how you doing in school? You playing in sports? Kissing his ass. I said, Mason, kid, you of all people should know. But he was terrified. He was scared to death. And the cop put in the police report, the supplemental to the little sergeant, the tiny terror pig. He said, Mason Neal wasn't traumatized at all. He was cool and calm, and nothing upset him during the interaction. Really? You got a psychiatrist degree to say that the kid wasn't upset? Really? He was calling you an effing pig for 10 minutes before then, but because you want to talk about sports, that just made it all okay. That's a cop's mentality. Cop's mentality. Oh, I talked to him and everything's fine. Isn't that the same way when a cop beats his wife? Honey, I just want to tell you, honey, that color purple of your eyes today, you know, where I slapped you yesterday, that looks good. That looks good on you. I know it's going to fade. It's going to turn a little yellow in the next 3 days, but I like it. I like it. Tell everybody you ran into a wall or, you know, fell downstairs, but that shade of purple looks good on your eyes, honey. It's that same mentality. Terrified my son watching me get slammed to the freaking ground in the driveway, and my kid's trying to record. Then he makes it go back, and then he comes over and talks to him. What's Mason? I mean, Mason should have said, F you, get out of my freaking yard. Now, you know the cop wouldn't listen. He wouldn't. But see, that's what they do. They don't care. You don't have any personal space. You don't have curtilage. You don't have that. Curtilage is a legal term, by the way. Look it up. Look up curtilage. But they don't care. How many videos you watch on YouTube where people tell cops are on their front porch, leave my property? Nope, this is a police matter. No, it's not. Leave. Unless you got a warrant, you can't be in my yard. But they don't care because no one holds them accountable. No one says you can't do that. You're fired. I've seen one pig in my town one time in the last 6 months. Small time, not much happening. Lucky you. Tina did not seem like she had your back. No, she never does. I mean, she don't really have my back. I mean, gosh, you've lived with me this long, ain't you? If that was my husband, I wouldn't have been all over. I would have been all over supporting him in a heartbeat. No one's going to disrespect my husband. Tina, you're a different kind of woman. You're a different kind of woman. Just like Tina told the cop, Mason's my only priority, as if he don't mean shit to me. And that, I mean, it's true. She's not lying. That's one time in his life she ain't lying. I am not her priority. She'd give a shit less if I died tomorrow. It would not bother her one bit. So you guys don't worry about none of that. Okay. And that's horrible. That's what a good wife would do. That's what a good wife would do. I ain't got one of them. They need to fix their own countries and stop coming trying to change our yes, Bush. Elon and Vivek will ruin this country. I think that Vivek's run with Trump's going to be over really quick. It's hard to have two alphas in the same space. When everybody keeps calling Elon the second president, no, he's not. He's not going to have that much power. Trump needed Elon. He needed Elon, and he's got what he needs from Elon. Elon's on Doge, and so is Vivek. So hopefully they can cut out a lot of this wasteful spending. Hopefully they will, and they can. Biden really screwed Trump on a bunch of things. I can go into that later. When it comes to Social Security, I'll go into later, but it sucks. They screwed Trump the whole time with his administration, letting government workers the unions get a 4-year contract that they don't even have to come to work. Martin O'Malley wrote for the work. It was the head of Social Security under Joe Biden, and he said, under Trump for the next 4 years, I'm going to write a contract for the unions You guys don't even have to come to work. You believe that? Martin O'Malley read a contract saying you don't even have to come to work. You just stay at home. And if you get something done, fine. If you don't, fine. Hold on a minute. I think they're here. Oh, no, they're not. Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm hurting so bad. Vivek's going to Ohio. Elon's going to have ideas to stop wasting money. That's the whole point. That's what I'm hoping. Elon's one of the most pathetic guys I've ever seen. I have zero respect for him. That's okay too. He very well could be the Antichrist. Just saying. Anybody wants to put a microchip in your head and control what you do, I don't trust as far as I can throw. But I understand Trump. Trump's a lot smarter than we think he is, but in a lot of places he's a lot dumber. And I'll be the first one to tell you. He does things, and I'm like, dude, do you not know? Like Marco Rubio. I would never have hired Marco Rubio to work for me. Ever in a million years. He's a freaking rhino. And that other Stefanik, Elise Stefanik, hell no, he should have left her as a goddamn congressman and left it alone. We need more, we need numbers in the Congress and the Senate. We don't need to pull them off and work for you. It's a horrible idea. And Tulsi Gabbard has now flip-flopped on the freaking on the FISA warrants. It's outrageous. Everybody's saying, and who's the guy for the DOD? Ratcliffe. Ratcliffe's a freaking rat too. I don't trust him far as I can throw him either. Trump keeps picking these freaking rhinos, dude, and it's upsetting. Meanwhile, he wants his companies to get corporate welfare. Whose companies? Elon's company. Elon doesn't take much. He don't get much from the government. Elon doesn't get much from the government. He doesn't get many tax breaks at all. That's why him and the government don't get along. They took away any kind of help that he could have gotten. He doesn't get the help like Bezos does and Tim Cook. Elon doesn't get the breaks. He actually pays more because he's got the government contracts and they punish him for what he does. So gotta be careful there. Let's see here. I don't want to think this way. What happens if they find you guilty and what goes on there? They're going to bust their ass to try to find out. I don't know. Community service, maybe. But I'm not able to do much. I mean, I get out and do what I can. We're just going to all pray that the truth's going to find them out. We're just going to pray. We're going to all stand together and pray in the name of Jesus that the court finds them as corrupt as they absolutely are. That's what we have to do. We ain't got no other choice. I don't have any faith in my counsel at all. Still haven't met her. Talked to her 2 minutes and still haven't had a sit down with her. Still to this day. Time is almost up for court. Court's in like 2 weeks. Still haven't met with the woman. It's outrageous that she just hang me out there to dry. So next time I go to court, if it's time to do it, I'm going to tell the court to fire her ass right then and there and either give me somebody or I have to do it on my own. I don't know what else to do. You got kids and everything else. Yep. What's going to happen? Sound like you got I do have a crappy defense attorney. And see, every week I watch my kid. Every week I watch my grandson. Every week I'm there to watch my grandson. And I'm going to be probably watching him 5 to 7 days a week. So me having to go do all this other stuff is going to it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. All I can do is pray. That's all I can do is pray. I'm not a criminal. This is the bad part. And this is the problem in America. Everything's a crime. No matter what you do, there's a crime. Doesn't matter. In America, you just can't drive home and get home safely anymore. I don't think I've ever been worried about being robbed. I've been in some of the roughest neighborhoods in Hickory, North Carolina. I can go to the roughest neighborhood right now, and I can walk around over there in Blacktown, and I'm not scared about nothing. But you know when I get scared? You know when I get tensed up? When I see a cop car. There's not a human on this earth that I fear of until I see a man in a costume. That's the only time that I know that I can get robbed, beaten, killed, or caged, and ain't a goddamn thing I can do about it. That should scare every man, woman, and child in there that you're more worried about the cops that surround you than the criminals in your society. I know if I don't go out at night, I'm less likely to be pulled over. But look, I've been pulled over, 4 or 5 times in my freaking driveway the past year or two? That's insane. All for trying to get home. Guys, I'm trying to catch up. I'm going to go real fast here, so see if I can get there. Look at all the victims here tonight. Pathetic. Try work. Well, I guess Dwight don't want to be in the chat very long. Oh goodness. Let's see. I don't want you. I'm gonna find you're guilty because I didn't see you doing anything wrong. But I try to think of both sides, or negative and a positive. I'm on duty 10 hours in a sleeper Walmart truck. I'm a victim of the road. There you go. Yeah, Dwight's just a troll. He don't care. He's a troll. Let's see. Not a Democrat. Gore, what I miss? Nothing much. Just a few people, including myself, using our First Amendment. There, I don't personally know Chili. I don't really want to. I think he's, more than he does. Chili's just, I cringe when I watch Chili. But I'll tell you this much. I've never heard him talk about it, but I'm 99% sure that Chili is a Christian. He's like me. He tries his best not to cuss. And I see his passion and his compassion for people, and I know it's in the right place. And all these people say, "Oh, he's just in it for the money." Listen, I wish I could get paid to speak, but if that's what he does full time, he needs to be paid for what he's doing. Chili's performing a service by exposing these criminal cops. He got railroaded. They put him in prison for 4 months, and he didn't commit a crime. So I'll stand up for Chili DeCastro any day of the week. I mean, I cringe when he stares at his phone with his headphones on, recording the cop right here beside him, and he's talking like his ear. It makes me cringe, but Chili's Chili. And he's done a hell of a lot better job than me. He ain't got nobody trying to silence him like they do me. I mean, if somebody just listen to me, if somebody would share my videos, maybe I'd have a voice, but you've seen it. They're not going to let me talk. They're not going to let me have a crowd. I mean, I've got 700 subscribers and I got 20 people in here. Does that sound weird? That sounds off to me. Back when I had 14, I mean, I've had less subscribers and 100 people in the chat. How's that happen? It's so backwards. It's so backwards. First marriage for both of us. Been together 32 years. I had to fight the devil for him. I'll give you a little heads up for a good relationship. You guys have to respect each. No, we don't have to respect each other. She don't respect me. The number one way a marriage works is if the man is first, the man makes decisions, and everybody puts God first, and then your spouse, and then your children. That will never happen here. So this relationship will never be any better than it is today. You've got to put God first, and then your spouse, and then your children. The Bible says the man's supposed to make the decisions, and the woman is supposed to be a helpmate to him. The Bible also says that treat your wife like a queen and be good to her and treat her with utmost respect and listen to her and love her and protect her. Absolutely is what the Bible says. But the Bible says the man is supposed to be in charge. That will never happen here. So I'm just killing time. It's killing me. I understand that. Got to respect each other. She didn't respect me, but it's one of the things. Let me get to the top. She's not your priority. Text that she's not your priority, man. I was raised God first, husband. There you go. I didn't even see that's what you text, Tina, but that's exactly what I was saying. Tells my mom and dad when I got married and went to my husband. We were family and nothing. Yep. All cops are corporate policing enforcers. They're guilty of committing treason. Absolutely. Absolutely. What's up, Vito? Anyway. The worst part about this whole situation is I can't even think about it. I have to put it off of my mind because just uploading the footage and reading through these reports, which is garbage. These reports are garbage. This is what I did. I did a public records request for every call that's ever been made to my house, to my address, to my phone, to Tina's, every call recording law enforcement, every call regarding somebody doing something here. They left out every unlawful stop that they pulled me over unlawfully. They left all those off. They did not print them up. The one when Mason laid out of school, they put that on here, child missing. They put on there the time that Mason fell off his bunk bed, had a bruise on his leg. They showed up over here with social services trying to say I beat him. And then when I asked them about each specific incident, I said, I want to see the report. I want to see everything that you got that. And all they did was give me the piece of paper with my address and my name. And then they put missing juvenile. And that's it. Look at this. Look at this whole paper. Let me do this to everybody's seen my information. It's that big deal. But the only thing on here is my address, my birth date, and all that stuff. But there's no other information. Look, it's all blank. They didn't put anything on there. They just put missing juvenile. That's the call. Good luck. All the records are like that. Every record they gave me is blank. I also requested the logins for, I wanted to see their search history on their computers for the chief of police and for them on top down. I wanted to see the laptop computer, because you can request those things. Those are all lawfully yours to know. I requested all that. They just act like I didn't say a word. Requested all that and they ignored it. Why? Because I want to show them. I mean, I've already got the chief on the phone saying, yes, I watched every one of his videos. He's already said that. I shared it to you last week. So they're watching my videos every day, and I can show the judge, hey, look, he's on YouTube. During the day that they're supposed to be working, patrolling around, they're watching my videos. Why are they looking at me? In other words, just like somebody said the other day, show me the man and I'll find the crime. They studied me until they found a way to pull me over and arrest me. Simple traffic infraction wasn't good enough to arrest me. So resisting, oh, look here. And they knew I had a gun because they watched my videos. I don't hide that I'm armed. I want people to know that I'm armed. Do you understand that? I want people, because people are less likely to try to rob you and kill you if you're armed. So I'm not ashamed to open carry. I open carry everywhere. Everywhere I go, I open carry. I haven't now since they took my gun. But I don't hide it. But the whole point was to set the narrative. Just like when they talk about that sovereign citizen garbage. It's garbage. It's all garbage. The sovereign citizen movement, where people think they have a religiosity and they think they talk to God and they think the government's out to get them. Guys, do you think that planes and drones follow me, really? Do you really think that? I'd like to see somebody comment. I'd like to think that I have shown some pretty darn good proof. But see, setting the narrative. You guys understand this whole thing's over a minor traffic infraction, but they're writing stuff on there about anti-government views and he's threatening law enforcement and all that stuff. Really? You're right now. I mean, listen to how hard they want to get me. Just like the cop at the magistrate, and I'll probably share that video tomorrow. Let's measure his pocket knives. Those were in his pocket too. Those were concealed weapons. Can we charge him with those too? And the magistrate's like, what? Even the magistrate chuckled a little bit. He's like, what? It's a pocket knife. How long is the blade? Is it 4.5 inches long? If it's more than 4 inches long, then you can get it for concealed. They were going to charge. So in other words, they took my pocket knives, didn't charge me for them, but wanted to charge me for them, but took them. Why did you take my pocket knives if they're not part of the crime? If it's not a crime to have pocket knives, why did you keep them? Oh, it's evidence. Evidence of what? It's not part of the crime. It's evidence that you carry weapons all the time. Wait a second. Did you know there are more people in America killed by blunt force trauma than they are being shot? So if I conceal a hammer in my pocket, is that concealed weapon? I'm waiting. Carrying a hammer, is that a concealed weapon? See, when I used to ride with the outlaw motorcycle clubs, a lot of them boys are felons. So in their saddlebag or in their packs, they carried hammers, sledgehammers, hammers, knives. They carried all that stuff. Because a gun charge, you can't beat a gun charge. But you carry that hammer on you, you can knock the hell out of somebody. That wasn't the point. A gun is a tool, just like a knife is. The things that I do, I have to have a pocket knife. I have to. In what I do on my everyday life, I have to have a pocket knife. And I carry two because I need two different kind of knives. And I need a pistol. There are jobs that require pistols. I have a job that I do that requires pocket knives and pistols. I'm not doing it for fun. I'm doing it because it's a tool of my trade. But we have to set a narrative. Anything can be considered. Exactly. That's the point. We criminalize everything. That way we can write it on a piece of paper, put it in front of a judge, and extort somebody. And listen, sovereign citizen is another word and phrase made up by the government to criminalize another part of the American people, to criminalize their behavior for daring to be free. If you go back and look at natural law and all that stuff, a lot of that stuff, if you do it right, you will win in court. But the problem is you're going to run across that dumbass cop every time that ain't going to listen. And his sergeant's not going to listen. His chief ain't going to listen. The judge and DA ain't going to listen. And it'll get to the Supreme Court of your state before somebody will say, wait a second, this guy was actually right. But it's so much of a fight to get that far. That's the problem. I mean, that guy in Texas at one, he turned in his driver's license. He renounced his citizenship, took the tag off his car. He had it all printed out, ready to rock and roll. They pulled him over. He said, I am traveling. And you read the Constitution, you have a right to travel when you're not involved in commerce. This isn't sovereign citizen. This is law of the land. This is constitutional. It's a big chance to take. I can't afford to get to run up on that. But the dude won. He won in court all the way up to the Supreme Court. I think it was Texas. He's won. He drives around every single day now. No tag and no insurance, and he's safe. No driver's license, no nothing, because we have a right to freely travel America. And really, you should never have to pay unless you're doing business. But see, me just saying, oh, he's a sovereign citizen. I'm not a sovereign citizen. I'm a constitutionalist. And that's why cops hate constitutionalists, because the Constitution is what holds them at bay, and the laws is what keeps us in check. But there's a whole lot more laws than there are constitutional rights protected. That's why cops hate the Constitution, and that's why when you ask them about it, they don't know jack shit. They don't know anything. Who's that? What's his name? Down in Florida, real soft-spoken guy. I like him. Foshin, down in Florida. He's very soft-spoken until he gets triggered, like me. And he asked the cops. He said, if I ask you a question, you don't know the answer. Will you make a good faith effort to get the answer for me and email it to me? The cops are like, yeah. He's like, what are the 5 freedoms protected under the First Amendment? And the cops don't know. And the majority of them say, man, I ain't got time to be quizzed on. I don't have to answer your questions. How can they take an oath when they don't even know what the hell they're swearing to? I am not raising my hand and putting my hand on a Bible. I'm not putting a hand on my Bible and lying in front of God. This is the problem, because people don't believe in God, so putting a hand on a book don't mean jack crap to them. When I put my hand on this book, it means something. I'm promising under penalty of God. It don't mean nothing to cops. They don't care. Like the chief said, I pray to God every week. I pray to God every day for his guidance. But then his sergeant is saying, I've got some kind of religiosity where I talk to God. Talking to God's wrong? This tells you. The founder said, this country will only survive with moral men that are moral and high and are accountable to a higher power, not the law of the land, because the Constitution and the laws in this country are based on the Bible. Solar releasing planes and government drones. Yes. They will say a candlestick is a deadly weapon. Absolutely. In the parlor, anything can be said as a weapon. Tire iron, what you need for your vehicle. Yep. They say you're operating a motor vehicle, which requires training and licensing. Yep. It's unfortunate. Everybody talks to God. Love that Aaron Lewis song. Well, the problem is everybody don't talk to God. That's the biggest problem. And a lot of people who the God they claim to be talking to is not the one you should be talking to. Thank you anyway for being here, Miss Jamie. Our country only works under moral men. That's why Congress and the Senate, the governments went all to crap, because I dare say that 95% of the Democrat Party in America do not worship God the Father and Jesus Christ. They don't. That's why it does not bother them at all to lie. Law enforcement in America do not worship Jehovah. They do not worship Yahweh. They do not worship God above. They do not. That's why it's so easy to lie on a report. I can go right now and look at the police report that they wrote up for me, and I guarantee you I can highlight 6 or 7 lies in that report. Now, if I lie to a law enforcement officer, I'm going to get charged with lying to a law enforcement officer. But when they lie on a document, oh, well, I had an adrenaline rush because he was yelling. And then, you know, that little chubby 12-year-old boy on the front porch recorded me in his underwear. That really spooked me. And I had to pay attention to him for officer safety. So I might have got the story wrong. I mean, the first paragraph he wrote had a lie in it. He lied. He didn't say when he pulled me over, I got out of the truck and told me to get back in. I don't think he said that. But they didn't even mention pulling me out of the truck. He didn't put that in the report that he pulled me out of the truck. But he did put in there I was hiding my right hand was down by my side, covering my gun or covering my right side where a pistol and pocket knives were at. He doesn't show that on the video. It ain't even there. But he's making a narrative. He's setting a narrative for the judge because the judge reads this stuff before court. So that's the first impression. The first impression of you is not on the stand. It's what they've already read. That's why they prejudice the judge right out the gate. That judge should not be able to study your case before they sit down in front of you. It should never happen that way. That judge should be fresh to the facts right then and there. Because guess what? That judge don't know nothing out of my mouth. So before I get in that courtroom, that judge can already find me guilty without me saying a word. Oh, sovereign citizen. Ooh, hates the government. YouTube channel. Let me check this out. Oh, he hates us. We got to put him away. There you go. Case is done. Did I have a fair shot in court? Did I get equal justice under the law? Nope, I didn't. Court's already prejudiced against me. That's the point of the reports. Fill it up with everything. Throw the garbage. Throw all the softly placed him. Why didn't he say he caressed my wrist when he pulled me out? I gently touched his wrist and felt his gruff hands, his hardworking man hands as I gently escorted him from the vehicle. Why didn't he say that? I mean, if you're gonna blow smoke, blow it in my ass. Don't miss. Blow it straight up there. 22 people in there hitting a thumbs up. Anybody else got a question? Answer? What you got to say? I just need you guys' prayers. I need your prayers. If what you see in those videos upset you, call. Don't call at night because we don't have And here's the thing: they put 4 or 5 more cops in my little bitty town on duty since this new liberal mayor come in. But we don't even have a person. If you call 911 in Longview, North Carolina, it goes all the way down to the sheriff's department in Newton. And then they got to call up here and try to find a cop to try to call us to get us over here. I mean, it's ridiculous. They can hire 4 or 5 more cops of the alternative variety, but we can't have somebody at the police department answering phones. Sound fishy? Sound fishy? Bad money management. Anyway, what cops don't understand about me and what cop suckers don't understand about me is I have something that law enforcement and a lot of these cop suckers don't. The difference between me and the majority of these people that defend cops is I have compassion for my fellow man. I cannot stand to see anybody get beat up. It pains me to see men, women, and children being beat up, being abused, being screamed at, having guns pointed at, having their car flipped over because they went too fast down the interstate. I can't stand to see innocent men, women, and children in America, even guilty of ordinance violations, being put in a cage. Why is it so easy in America to throw somebody in a cage? That's what I said the other 2 weeks ago in my video. Taking your freedom away is a serious. Listen, if Tina comes home right now and I take her and I push her in her bedroom and I hold that freaking door shut, I have kidnapped her. That's a bad felony. I'm going to go to jail for a long time if I hold her in her room. Now, she's got a bed in there. She's got her night clothes. She's got her dang her fuzzy socks. She's got a TV with a remote control and a DVD. She's got a cell phone in there. She's got a lamp. She can pet her cat in there on that bed. She lives her life in that bedroom in there. But if I dare shut that door behind her and not let her in, I'm going to prison. But every single day in America, thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of you and I are put in a cage for some of the most ridiculous reasons conceivable. That is not what law enforcement was made for, to cage every Tom, Dick, and dumbass that dare get in a law enforcement sights. It's too easy to take somebody's freedom over contempt of cop. It's too easy to write a ticket saying you owe me $700 because you couldn't afford the $30 sticker on your tag. Am I insane here? So I can't afford to pay for the sticker on my tag. I can't afford the taxes on my vehicle or to put a sticker on my tag, but you're going to take $600 more from me. Where's the justice at? Now, there's nothing wrong with my tag. My tag is perfectly legal. It's legal, I think, through May or June. So don't misconstrue that. I'm just saying, it's too easy to go to jail for BS. If you steal a man's property, destroy a man's property, if you lay your hands on somebody and hurt them, I can understand that being the end punishment. But taking somebody's money because they don't want to wear a piece of cloth over their shoulder, this nanny state that we're in, it's just like, and I am so happy on Facebook. There's this one, game wardens, where they got their own TV show, Game Wardens. They're just going around harassing men on four-wheelers, harassing men fishing in a creek, harassing guys trying to hunt, harassing the father and the son tracking deer. Just all day, all they're doing is going up and extorting money from families that are just trying to enjoy America and feed themselves. Well, you can't do that. You can't do that. This is going to be about $1,200 ticket. You got to show up for court. We're probably going to take your hunting license. You're going to be trespassed from this federal game lands. And here you go. Show up for court. Now, 10 years ago, 99.9% of the comments, well, you should obey the law. It didn't seem like it big a deal, but if that's the law, ignorance of the law is no excuse. 99.9, that's what the people are saying. Well, that kind of sucks, but I can see it. They're conserving our natural resources. Go to that page now. You'll have 1 in 300 people. Well, game wardens are there to protect our wetlands and our fisheries. 1 out of 300. The rest of it is, these people are a joke. They're robbing you. They're stealing from us. They're extorting money all the time. How much more do they need? Every comment. And I'm back here saying, finally, people are listening. But it ain't enough. It ain't enough. Listening's not enough. Standing up and saying, this is wrong. Every time you see a law enforcement officer, you should walk up to them and let them have a piece of your mind. You should tell them how disgusted you are of law enforcement in America. You should tell them how immoral it is to rob men, women, and children in this country who just want to work and feed their families and go home. You should tell them how immoral it is that their job is to wake up every day and try to extort people, try to cage people, and if you're lucky enough, kill somebody because some bureaucrat said it was okay. That's what you should do. Every one of you. When they're at the mall standing in there playing with their cell phone, standing on the goddamn corner doing nothing, go up and tell them what you think. Until they're ashamed so much that they are willing to change the system they've taken a part of so long. How in the hell can you put that costume on and be proud? I stand with my brothers in blue. Stand for what? Law enforcement in America today is exactly what the founders warned us about. They did not want a standing army because they knew that army would be used against the citizens. And what's going on? The army of law enforcement in America is being used against the citizens. I'm telling you guys, I'm out there. I see it every day. When Hurricane Helene, the weather weapon, came through here and wiped everything, people still without clothes, still without homes, still without food in North Carolina mountains. There are still thousands of bodies, 200,000 homes gone. Gone. During Hurricane Helene and all that tragedy, There wasn't a cop inside. There wasn't a state trooper nowhere on the highway. They weren't anywhere. People in ditches and wrecked out and crashed out. There wasn't a cop one anywhere. I didn't even see Duke Power for 5 freaking days. But the first day the sunshine came out, law enforcement was at the top of the road writing tickets for seatbelts. Time for class consciousness. We need to all stand up together and take down corrupt system along with those who enable it. Yeah, but it's going to take a lot more than the voting booth. You have to share the videos, guys. If your friends and family hate you for exposing what's happening in America, oh well. I can show you my Facebook page right now, and I bet I haven't had 1 like in 3 months. Nobody watches it. They all tuned out. Facebook's blocking me from the world anyway. But share the videos. When you see cops on a video from Lackluster, share it. When you see Jeff Gray on your oath, see the video of him getting arrested for holding a sign saying, "God bless the homeless veterans," share the video. Because they don't have the algorithm that lets them see the truth. The algorithms are hiding the corruption in America from law enforcement. The algorithms have kept them in their safe little glass house that all cops are good people. The algorithm hides it all. So when this chief up here says, "You hate law enforcement, I see your videos and you talk bad about," he doesn't see how corrupt they are. Now, does he really think cops are the good guys? I just don't know. I just don't know if he really knows that. I could start at 8 o'clock in the morning. You hear me? 8 o'clock in the morning, sharing videos to my channel. And those videos would last till 12 in the morning. And I could probably go 24 hours a day sharing videos of bad cops, bad government, not only bad, but criminal. I could do that 24 hours a day and never have a rerun. And there's a lot of channels out there I don't like because I just don't like the people on them. Like Auditing America, Enrique from Puerto Rico. I cannot stand his voice. His voice makes me want to rip my freaking eardrums out. Because he abuses our rights. He abuses them. He goes out and makes an ass of himself in public and pretty much is a nuisance of himself. But he has the right to do it. I just think it's an abuse of my rights. But he has a right to do it. So I don't watch it. But I could watch his channel every day of the week where cops violate him and he gets beat up in post offices. I mean, people like me have been vilified for so long. They've been vilified people like me since the hippies. And I'm not a freaking hippie. I wouldn't have been a hippie back then if I had a choice to be. But see, the hippies back then that were smoking dope, make love, not war, those are the ones training your children right now in college. Those hippies back then that were radical are super radical, trying to talk your children into cutting their genitals off. They're the ones teaching our kids. They're not standing against the system now because they've become part of it. The system, they got in the system to change it, but the system was too convincing. So what they do? They assumed the letter D for demon rat, and they settled in. So instead of being, because if you listen now, Democrats are not against law enforcement now. Not against the feds, because the feds have been their standing army. The feds have done their bidding. The feds have went after every Republican they could. Guilty, innocent, or not. And here's the question. If you've been sitting back and you don't even have to support Trump, but if you see everything, all the lawfare they used against Trump and Alex Jones, and you know it's wrong, why are all the cops silent about what happened to him? Why didn't they speak out saying they took Alex Jones down for speech? And not even speech he said. Alex Jones didn't break the law, but they took everything he had. But did cops stand up for him? No, didn't say a word. Did cops stand up? They came to Roger Stone's house with a SWAT team with 20-some vehicles and 24 agents. They have Coast Guard gunboats behind Roger Stone's house down in Florida. CNN got there first. Somehow they figured out that he was getting raided. This 65-year-old man in his goddamn underwear, they raid his house at 6 o'clock in the morning. Because what? Because he testified in front of Congress and said it was a sunny day instead of a rainy day. That's the mass of his testimony. No cop said, that they shouldn't have done that. Why are we raiding a 65-year-old man when he had lawyers? All you had to do is reach out to his lawyer. Why are we doing that? Because it's the constant show of force, and that's the problem in America. We've gotten used to SWAT. When you say the SWAT raid, everybody's like, "Oh God, somebody got swatted." Oh, that's horrible. It's too common. Every day in America, probably thousands of times a day, cops are kicking somebody's door in at 6 o'clock in the goddamn morning for the most minute crap. And dogs get shot. I mean, was it 3 years ago? They threw a freaking grenade in the house, and it went off in a baby's bed, blew half the baby's face off. And guess what? They found them not liable. If SWAT kicks in your door right now and wrecks your house, and then they find out it's the wrong house, they're not responsible. Did you know that? The Supreme Court has said if cops are in the act of their duties and they get the wrong house and they destroy that house in a SWAT raid, they're not responsible. It's up to you. The bar is even lower or even higher for them. It's above an act of God. So in other words, the government can kick your door in, run a freaking tank through it, and it'd be the wrong house. They destroy your house, burn it to the goddamn ground, and the courts have said, no fault of theirs. It's your fault. You shouldn't have parked your house there. Can't help. These are dumb cops. They should have known better, but that's where we're at in America. And people think it's okay. No one will ever put guilt where guilt needs to be. And it's only going to get worse. I mean, I thought that COVID would have been enough for the American people to say, nope, I cannot, I'm not doing this anymore. I am not worshiping law enforcement. I am not patting them on the back and thanking them for their service anymore. When Gavin Newsom sends out the Coast Guard and boats to arrest a man on a paddle boat out there social distancing like a champ out in the middle of the freaking Pacific Ocean, and they arrest that dude because of a governor's mandate, and everybody just stood down. When that mom at a park with her child all by herself, and cops arrested her, and the sheep didn't say a word. You should have known right then that most of the American public, the ones on the right, Donald Trump supporters, veterans, that they'll defend law enforcement no matter what. Why is it? And I've got some cop-sucking friends, and we have had it out before. I said, why is it that cops always get your benefit of the doubt, but I never do? How come you will always excuse a cop? Because see, if I break an ordinance and I tell the cop, well, I didn't know that was an ordinance. Then they say, what? Ignorance of the law was no excuse. But when a cop does it, that they can't remember them all. What? It's his job to know the law. Why is it up to me to know every law? And if you dare ask for discretion only happens when they're pulling over a law enforcement officer. Oh, I see your badge. I mean, I shared a video from Lackluster last month. They literally have, and you can go right now. You can go online and buy a get out of jail free card with your local law enforcement on it. You just donate $50 to the police union in your area, and they'll give you a get out of jail free card. Are you serious? Legalized bribery. Free to go. I had a buddy growing up, and name was Danny Glasgow. He was just an old-time pothead. He sold pot. That's what he did. He sold pot for 50 years. He's dead now. He lived right there on Springs Road. It was a pretty busy road in my area. And there was more pot sold out of that house than you could ever dream. I mean, it was my buddy's uncle, not blood uncle, but one of his dad's old biker buddies. And we get over there and we get high as Cootie Bear. And I mean, just the best weed. And he was so laid back and chill. He's the only man that ever gained weight when he had cancer. He had like stage 4 brain cancer. And he gained weight while going through chemo and all that by eating moon pies and snorting cocaine. His doctor's like, how are you putting on weight? He said, Doc, he said, I do 3 grams of coke a day and I eat moon pies. And the doc's like, well, keep doing what you're doing. But that man had an old station wagon. And on the back of that station wagon, he had one sticker over here and it said, I back the blue, or I love law enforcement. And on the other side, it said, real men love Jesus. And every time cops get behind that, they'd see that one little sticker showing support for them. Then they just turn right on off and leave them alone. A simple sticker? Just saying I support cops. Now, if a little sticker like that will keep cops from pulling you over, imagine what would happen if you had a YouTube channel talking about how corrupt cops are. Imagine the discretion they would use then. I mean, they set the timeline up. Longview law enforcement set up the timeline. Harass me, trespass me from private property. Harass me. Finally, back when I get quiet, then they come out front and stalk my son, scare him to death. When I go quiet on YouTube, it scared them. They're like, "Oh God, what's he doing? We got to figure it out." Well, let's go rattle a cage. So then they show up taking pictures. And then I tell them, "Listen, guys, I'm laying low. I ain't got nothing to say about them. Leave them alone. Time's almost out. I'm gonna be out of here soon." And I tell them, "Listen, my lawsuit's over. I'm not going to try to pursue my lawsuit. I'm out." And then within the next 2 weeks, I'm pulled over and slammed in my driveway. Or let me rephrase that. I locked my knee and I dramatically fell over. I didn't want this to be a rant about this tonight, but nobody else commenting. Systems like this, they always fail. People don't understand this in America. America's one of the youngest countries around. And America cannot survive with so many more immoral men running it. I pray that the next 4 years are going to be a lot better than the last 4 years is the worst America's ever lived under, ever. I pray that Trump does the things he said he's going to do. You don't have to like Trump at all, but I know my life was a hell of a lot better under Donald Trump than it is now. And for everybody says, well, Donald Trump supports cops, I get it. Cops got a whole lot of voting power. So keep that in mind. Just like Elon Musk had a whole lot of voting power. Joe Rogan had a lot of voting power. Donald Trump is a marketing genius. He knows where to go, knows who to talk to. Remember, he told us all the game was rigged. He told you that years ago that the game was rigged. If he needed to get something done in New York, he paid both sides. He paid the Democrats. He paid the Republican. Whoever he stood in front of, that person was on their knees and kissing his ass. Because that's the way the system is. The system thrives on greed. The system thrives on ego. Cops are the same way because their ego is built on how much greed they have towards the American citizen. I got to hurry up and pull this guy over and take his money so my boss will see that I'm out here generating revenue. Because guess what? Just like when I brought up the troopers' pay scale from last year. That trooper had a $13,000 raise all at one time last year. Did you hear me? Law enforcement, either last year or year before that, I can't remember. It was year before, because not 2024, 2023. They got a $13,000 raise in North Carolina last year. That's a freaking jump in pay, boy. I ain't never got a $13,000 raise, but law enforcement did. What a lucky guy. What's up, Preacher Moore? You come about at the end of it. I'm tired and I'm hurting. I would even... 6 figures working overtime, yeah, they get a lot of money. And nobody's watching overtime. And listen, and a lot of them, I don't know if it's the same in North Carolina and Catawba County, but they get paid double time to sit on a stand. So if they need to make up for that Christmas rush, they just write more tickets and then they can sit in court and get that easy time, but double time. It's too easy to take away man's freedom away in America. The world thinks that we're so free. We're not. We're one of the most we are the most litigious society in the world. There are more laws in America than there are 20 countries put together. Yet America's lawless. I mean, here's one. Go on YouTube and look up stopadouchebag.com. There's Stop a Douchebag Moscow, Stop a Douchebag SBB, Stop a Douchebag Live. There's like 4 or 5 Stop a Douchebags. And it's just citizens. And they go out and people that drive on the sidewalks. Everywhere in Russia, they drive on the sidewalks. They park on the sidewalks because their economy is booming and they don't have the infrastructure to park all the cars. So they just go out, and if people don't move their cars, they'll put a big sticker on their car that says, "I spit on you. I do what I want. I hate the public." That's what it says on the big sticker to put on the windshield. Cops don't write tickets. They don't care. People get a DUI out there. Say you're drunk. Cop walks up to you. They ask you questions. If they smell alcohol in your breath, they make you a Blakey Bill right there. Boom, you're guilty of DUI. Boom, pay a $35 fine. Go home. Boom, it's over. It's that quick. Right on the side of the road. A ticket for driving on a sidewalk is $30. $30. I'm not talking about exchange rate. I'm talking to them. It's $30. It's equivalent to the same $30 we would pay here. So as in America, if you drive on the sidewalk, you can get a $250 ticket plus $100. I think it's $125 or $135 or maybe even $140 court cost. Driving on a sidewalk in America is like a $500 fine. It's all about that money. It's all about them Benjamins. It's why are they building prisons faster than they build houses? We got more prisons in America than we do colleges. Did you know that? Don't sound right, but that's the stat I read the other day. If crime's falling, then why do we have so many more prisons now? Because they write the laws to put more people in them prisons, because the people paying for those politicians and paying for them judges need seats in them chairs, needs asses in them seats at the prisons. So they fill them up, just like the same guy that Joe Biden pardoned the other month. The guy filled up a kid's jail, filled the place up with kids that never should have went to prison. A bunch of them killed themselves. Parents lost their children because of a corrupt judge taking a kickback. It's evil. Slave labor too. But listen, if you're convicted of a real crime, why don't they have call centers set up there? Listen to me. If they're convicted of a real crime and they deserve to be in jail, set up a call center, give them a cell phone and a computer in their cell, and let them make phone calls instead of sending these jobs to India. I would rather talk to Jerome that got busted for slinging crack on the phone than some Indian that I can't understand. Why aren't we? There's no common sense. It's just get more of the taxpayers' money, more of the taxpayers' money, more of the taxpayers' money. Because guess what? When they stop that need for greed, then there's less you and me getting murdered over a sticker. There's less me and you get beat to death for a goddamn tag. There's less me and you going to jail for a stupid offense where nobody got hurt. I still don't understand when they fine me why they take money from me and give to the state. Why does the state need more money? It would be different if when they had my money to start with, that they would do something good for it, but all they do is enrich themselves more. They just vote themselves another pay raise instead of doing more for me. With the many taxes and fines that we pay every day in America, there ought not be a pothole in the streets. There ought to be high-speed rail going everywhere. There ought to be things for us to do, but there isn't. We are nothing more than a plastic society. America is nothing but plastic. Absolutely worthless. We don't have any beautiful buildings anymore. We don't build anything beautiful. We don't make anything beautiful. Everything is throwaway. And the system set up to oppress us is more oppressive than ever. And it's not going to change until I'm not the only one being abused for my speech.
tired. I'm hurting. Good night. God bless you guys. Thank you for being here. Like, share these. Like it, share my channel. Go to the big channel and say, man, help this guy. Give him a voice. I've been screaming here for 10 freaking years and I can't go nowhere. 17 people with 700 subscribers. Does that make sense to you? Hit don't to me. Thank you for being here, Mr. Moore. You got my information, Mr. Moore. Reach out for me. Talk to me sometime. I love you guys. Thanks for being here. I'm tired. I'm hurting. It's a lot of stress. Pray for our family. If there's anything you can send us to help, let me know. Emails ChannonTownsend@yahoo.com, ChannonTownsend. Reach out to me. Share my video. Share the body camera footage with other channels. Share it to all the big channels. Say, reach out to him. Reach out to him. Talk to him before you make your decision. Call him up. Email him. Let him know. Help me get my story out there. If you don't like what was done to me, call during the day. Call them and tell them. Tell them it's wrong. Call the courthouse. Say, man, what the hell? What's going on? Why did Longview hide the body camera footage? Where's the dash camera? Where's the footage at? Because I don't have it. I showed you guys what I got. They cut half of it off. If they busted me legitimately and they did everything right, why did they butcher the footage? Why is the footage edited? Everybody said I would edit it. You guys know I don't edit nothing. I gave it to you the way I got it. 16 likes and 16 people. God bless. Have a good night.